What's good, Cows Gang? You already know who it is, Mr. Palmer, aka Boss Daddy, and we got to talk about this crazy situation right here. Now take a look at this woman on the side of me. Her name is Avril. Now, I don't want to say her last name because I don't want to say it wrong, but in April, like April the 13th or the 14th, she decided to post on Facebook exposing her bishop. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Now I want you to take a look at this bishop right here. Now this is a bishop, and they both from South Carolina, and she accuses him, the good old pastor, Mr. Sin himself. Can I get that? Sin. Of years-long sexual manipulation.
Damn!
You can't make up.
Bruh.
And I'm gonna let you know, this dude, his name is Apostle Michael Joyner, the head pastor, the head in charge at Divine Deliverance Worship Center. Now, this is all in South Carolina. And now, because she did that, you have multiple women coming out saying the same damn thing. Saying that it was a lot of sexual misconduct going on.
What?
Saying there was a bunch of manipulation going on. Saying there's a bunch of abuse of power going on. But we're gonna talk about Avril. We're gonna talk about her because she's the one that put it out there. And I ain't gonna lie to you, she's nice looking, fine. And this that she posted on Facebook on her page. Of course, she took it down, but I got it right here. And shout out to the NC Beat, North Carolina Beat. She has accused this long time spiritual leader of initiating in an inappropriate sexual relationship that allegedly spanned several years. So this wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't a two-time thing. This was several years. Now, this dude has been preaching there for 8 years. And the stuff that she posted on her page, long message, very long, but I want you to see this quotation that she did say that caught my eye though. She says, "I have a wonderful husband who loves me, but I allowed my bishop of 8 years, Apostle Michael Joyner, to use his position as a spiritual leader to initiate and maintain a sexual relationship with me." This is what she wrote. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. She's grown in and she's saying that her bishop was able to initiate this several year affair, and when nothing she could do about it, she was so manipulated. This is not a kid. It's not a teenager. It's not somebody that's mentally challenged or anything like that. But let's continue. So when you go on here, she also having quotation. This was not an isolated incident, a mistake, or a misunderstanding. This was intentional, deliberate, ongoing, and sustained over several years. Also in quotations, she said, "A person can stand behind the pulpit, preach powerfully, prophecy accurately, and still be living in deep, intentional wrongdoing," she wrote. "Do not confuse gifting with righteousness." That's what she posted, because her message is very, very long, but we're gonna read all that. I just want you to hear some of the key things that she was saying. Now, believe it or not, her husband, let's put a picture up here with her and her husband. They still married, from what I see. And he, I guess, forgave her. I guess they following God's law. You know, you don't get divorced for any reason, and you're supposed to forgive. You know, but he better than me, fam. He's better than me. I wish I would, but I tell you this, she calls for accountability, urging the church to stop blindly protecting leadership. Because what she's saying is they turn their head, turn the blind eye, acting like, you know, hey, this ain't happening, which that do happen in these churches, you know, and I guess they cast her ass out, right? So she stated that he needs to apologize to her, his church, his family, and his following, and criticize the practice of sweeping things under the rug to maintain a false image. You know, stop faking it. You know, but that's most of these pastors. This ain't nothing new. We see viral videos all the time telling motherfuckers to, you know, sell their house and give 10% to the price and all that shit. That ain't nothing new. But most of y'all women entertain that. Them are the new age pimps that been around for many, many years. Now, check out what she had to say. She did tag him at the time. She tagged the church also. And this is long, Cows Game, but it's worth listening and reading it. She says, I have a wonderful husband who loves me, but I allowed my bishop of 8 years. He was a bishop for 8 years. They didn't have sex for 8 years. Apostle Michael Joyner to use his position as a spiritual leader to initiate and maintain a sexual relationship with me. Several years now. The relationship was not equal in power or influence. He, as my spiritual authority, held a position of trust, influence, and control, which he used to manipulate and shape my behavior to satisfy his personal and sexual desires. Now, here's my thing with that now, Cows Gang. So you telling me he was getting all the enjoyment and feeling good and pleasure. You weren't getting none of that. So you was just there, just bending over, laying back for several years and not getting nothing out of it. Okay, what do y'all think about that, Cows Gang? Now, she also says his words. This is his words. She allegedly saying, my wife doesn't minister to me sexually. We haven't been intimate over 20 years. I wonder why. Anytime I preach extremely hard, typically during high services, I experience strong sexual urges and need satisfaction that I know I'm not going to get when I get home. Also, his words, a person never really stops cheating. They just do it differently. He made all these statements to normalize and continue the sexual behaviors between him and I. So she's saying that he like, you know, people gonna cheat.
Truth is what it is.
That's what he basically saying, including him. She also says, though the entire encounter was expected to maintain a public image within the church while privately engaging with him in sexual activity, I was placed in situations where I had to stand before the congregation, receive ministry from him publicly, and suppress the reality of what occurred previously and privately. He used his leadership to maintain secrecy. He used his leadership to create circumstances within the ministry that negatively impacted how I was perceived and treated by others. I had to deal with rejection, being an outcast, and not being invited around because of what his church could feel but not prove. So they had an idea that was going on, and they blamed her, cast her. She is the leather of the church. I got it. And she also says, I was deemed disrespectful. What was there to respect? How do you respect leadership and church if the leadership doesn't respect church? Leadership is supposed to represent something sacred, and unfortunately, it does not.
Bruh.
She's right about that. This was not an isolated incident, a mistake, or misunderstanding. This was intentional, deliberate, ongoing, and sustained over several years. He invited me to his ministry under these pretenses. I didn't come to his church to make him fall. He had already fallen. which is why he wanted me to come around, so he had a way of seeing me and justifying why he was in communication with me. His words, "You have to come to my church, April." He called her April. "I have no way of explaining you otherwise."
Amazing.
He damaged my sense of self and personal identity. He caused social harm with me within the church community. He caused me spiritual harm and loss of trust in religious leadership.
Shit.
I did not initiate this situation, but I did go along. He made sure I became really close and attached to him. I trusted everything he said. He was a trusted leader that abused his influence with me. I was shaped, manipulated, and used to satisfy his flesh while he maintained an image before the church. And you didn't have no satisfaction? Okay. He slowly broke my inner being emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and spiritually. He affected my entire relationship with faith itself. A person can stand behind a pulpit, preach powerfully, prophecy accurately, and still be living in deep, intentional wrongdoing.
Truth is what it is.
Do not confuse gifting with righteousness. The same man who corrected others publicly was privately doing the very things he condemned. He spoke the word of God through microphone while living in direct contradiction.
Bruh.
This ain't nothing new. That's what most of these motherfuckers pastors do. They don't have no integrity. They don't believe in God because they still do the same bullshit, sin that they out there trying to call out and condemn me. Let's continue. While he informed his congregation to fast from their phones, social medias, anything virtual, he was virtually jacking himself to me on video in his office, in his church, in his pastor study.
Bruh.
You can't make it up and you watching or you listening. You ain't say this ain't right, you ain't hang up the phone, you was down for the cause for them several years. It's not really used to study anything biblical. The only thing he was studying was me, studying and examining my female parts right before Bible study, right before he walks out in fake community and mounts the pulpit. So yeah, the church has a high time in the Lord through him because he's already on his high. He's already got his quick fix, his sexual release, the same hands touching the oil, same hands touching the flock's forehead is the same hands he used to satisfy his flesh. So again, you weren't getting satisfied either. You weren't getting touched. You weren't getting pleased like that. You was just around, just letting him do what he wanted to do because you were spiritually manipulated. You can't make this up. The glitz and glam of the church is not real. We stand and applaud the very people in leadership that have the same issues we have or more. He tried to convince me, did convince me to separate the two. Two meaning separating the man Michael from Bishop Michael. This is what he says in quotation. That's what she's alleging. Know when I'm being your pastor and when I'm being your guy, April.
You f***ing income f***ing poop.
Those were his words to me. April, you really have to learn to separate the two.
What's wrong with y'all? You niggas crazy.
The church has to stop blindly protecting leadership and hold them accountable. Same accountability that he preaches, he needs to be held to. He needs to address his church. He needs to apologize to me, to his church, to his family, to his following. We have to stop sweeping things under the rug to maintain an image that's not real anyway. I don't mind exposing myself when it's the truth. This is my bold truth. And true character walks in truth. This is my honest relief, my honest release. Heartbreak emoji. The truth sets you free. I'm free. I'm done. Yeah, but the truth is she didn't tell the whole truth because she making it all like his enjoyment, his pleasure, his satisfaction. But she wasn't having that. Several years now. This ain't nothing where he tied her up, he kidnapped her, forced her, he raped her. Seemed like she made a choice. Now, if you go on her page, you don't see this no more. But let me show you what I do see. Comments. So if you go on April's post, this was April the 14th, right? And the picture she showed ain't there no more. But she says, cause show me a couple who the woman or man didn't step out of both. So what she trying to say is, you can't talk about me cheating because basically every man and woman cheats, which that's a lie. Do they cheat? Yes. But the way she's saying it, like, don't talk about me or those stones living in the glass house. So, also she posted in this post, she said, just because you didn't come forth with your doesn't mean you don't have no going on, bitch. So she's mad because everybody's not going get along with the quote unquote victimhood. You know what I'm saying? And some people are saying like, well, you're grown, you're not a kid, you're not retarded. You've been doing it for several years, you made a choice. You know what I mean? This wasn't a one-time thing, two-time thing. It's been going on for quite a while. And let me tell you, there's a few people that support her, most likely because they know her and all that stuff. But, I want you to see something right quick, because I'm gonna scroll down. And it's a brother right here that I want you to check out on what he said. This brother named Ronnie Dixon. This man looked like a older gentleman. He says, everyone does not cheat when married. If a man or woman was to cheat, they should be forgiven. That's what the Bible say. Now, if the spouse chooses to forgive that person, that's their personal business. If he or she does choose to stay after infidelity, that person can't hold it over the other's head. So in other words, hey, if you forgive him, you forgive her, can't be throwing it in our head. You done, you gotta move on. Can't just keep throwing it over the head, right? Listen to her response, or see her response. This is what she says. Sir, you have cheated with a man or woman, whichever you want to admit to. Shrug emoji. So basically what she was trying to say, that he's gay. He's gay. He's gay. So she's triggered that he's speaking the truth. And I don't see where he said nothing wrong. He didn't say it was your fault. He didn't say anything like that. He was saying about forgiveness and if you cheat. And the first thing she said, sir, you cheated with a man or woman. So let's check out the responses, because they go back and forth. He responds to her and say, first off, I'm happily married to my wife. God has kept me from being a cheater. It's possible. So woman tagged him with a picture emoji. And then April come back and says, it is possible, just not with you. That's what she says. You can type anything behind the screen. Your ass cheated before sounds good though. And then, he didn't respond no more. Somebody else responded, but that's irrelevant. He didn't respond no more because he realized who he was talking to. So with that being said, Cal's gang, and believe me, and people called her out and say, how can you say that you didn't do nothing wrong and it's all him, you a victim when you signed up for it. Now we go to the husband, and I know it's him, but I'm gonna say allegedly. His name is Charles Williams, and he got a bunch of pictures with her. Look like he's still, support her. He's still there. Look like they've been together for years. because I'm looking at some older pictures where she was big and she ended up losing some weight, or chubby, and she lost weight, you know. And like I say, he better than me, fam. You can't make this up. Damn. Cows game. What do y'all think about it? Like I say, she fine, nice looking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she Black American or mixed. I don't know, but she definitely look good. And that preacher said he was gonna lay hands on her. And after that happened, multiple women came out and said the same thing. But here's the thing I have to say about this situation and other situations. All y'all grown. You're not handicapped physically. You're not autistic. You got a full brain. And you've been having sex with this bishop, apostle, pastor for years or multiple times. I get what you're saying. He's a man of leadership, and he should not be out here doing the sin. But also, we need to keep it real. He's still a man. This is why a lot of Black men don't go to churches. This is why we don't fall for it. Because you have most of these pulpit pimp gangsters who run the church and do all the sexual opportunities there. You don't have to go outside no more. Ma'am, as far as I'm concerned, you're not a victim. You made a choice. My body, my choice. And now, as far as I'm concerned, he must have stopped giving you whatever sentence he was giving you, and now you want to run off and tell.
Truth is what it is.
And if your husband was a great husband, been a good husband, all this then you wouldn't have cheated on him in the first place. And now you want to get sympathy from social media. And, you know, most is men and women are calling you out saying that's on you, and you're not as innocent as you claim to be. He ain't, obviously. And then now you want to talking about, well, you cheated too, and then you can't talk about me because I know you cheated. You just ain't spread your truth, boy. What do y'all think about this situation, Cows Gang? Do you think that she was manipulated? Do you think she is, do you think she is a victim? What do you think? Do you think that she didn't know no better and, she was just following the pastor as he was laying hands on her for several years? Damn! Made an executive decision to cheat on her husband with this man. But Cows Gang, you already know what I want to know. When it comes to this woman from South Carolina, Averill, I got to know, is she a victim or volunteer? In the name of the Lord, right?